But you can't tell me that a Hilux will tow a Caravan at 3.5 tonne better than a 79 Cruiser V8. Like, it's just, there's no substitute for cubes.
Fucking wrap your life in gear around that, mate. Get into this. Turning shit around.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thanks for coming down, buddy.
No, thanks for the invitation.
It's been hot today. You're very welcome. Well,
Fantastic.
the first one was with Darren, and he was speaking really highly of you, and then Barney was just basically rattling off all the craziness off road. I was like, fuck, I gotta reach out. I gotta say hello.
Well, I can't be that nuts, can I?
Well, I tell you what, I've watched a couple. I did my own little bit of research, just making sure that I was kind of up to date with everything. I was like, you fucking do. You love a bit of carnage.
Yeah. Well, you got to, put it on for, if you've got a crowd there, you got to give it a bit so everyone enjoys it.
Yeah. Just pull that one into you a little bit more, just so you can hear yourself a little bit better.
Righto. Is that better?
There you go. That's good.
Righto.
I say it a bit, but I'll say it again. For anybody who's been living under a rock, Rueben, DMW, the man, the myth, the legend.
Thanks, mate.
I do appreciate you coming down. I know it's a fucking long drive, and I know you must be like just ridiculously busy.
Yeah, we got a bit on at the moment. Look, we've got a few builds going on that we're taking across to Perth next month.
Yep.
And we're going to do the southern coast of Western Australia, Albany and Esperance and all that sort of shit. So we've got the Ineos that has to be getting sorted. We've got my daughter's little car, Buster Line, the little Jimny.
Yeah.
And then we've got, everything else. So that our stuff's got to get fitted in with the program around all the customer cars. So
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
On a much smaller scale, I know the feeling.
I think it's the same for everyone, because when you're working on your own stuff, what you're actually doing is, you're not booking stuff in at that same time.
Yeah.
Then you're missing the amount of revenue you're going to get. So it sort of snowballs and costing way more.
Yeah, I've got that little bit of what's become fucking artwork behind you there. That was going to be a project. I think that's probably 2 years. It sat around for a year after I played with it and was just like, nah, it's art now. I've forgotten what I did to half of it. I'm like, yeah, no, that'll do. It looks good. It can sit there and look good.
It looks fantastic in the showroom.
That's it. That'll do. So, okay, I've tried to find this, and it's probably hidden somewhere, I'm guessing. What does DMW stand for?
Dirty, muddy weekends.
There you go. Okay. Is that written anywhere? It is?
Yeah.
I could not find it for the life of me.
Well, it never started out as Dirty, Muddy Weekends.
Right.
So it started out as Dolphin's Mobile Welding back in the day.
That's pre what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's where the DMW comes from, Dolphin's Mobile Welding.
Okay. That's all right. Fair enough. So that's your history was fabrication in general, or like where?
Yeah, so I started out as a automotive spray painter, panel beater. I did 3 and a bit years of it, and I got signed off, and wasn't for me. And I went started boiler making, and I really enjoyed that. And then after doing that for a fair while, I went into sales and sold motorbikes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, all I've done is just conglomerate all of that experience, and that's DMW now.
It's like talking to me. I did the same thing. I started in window tinting, and I actually got into window tinting because I was too cheap to pay for it. I was about 17. There was a tint mart down at Stafford. There was I think I had an XF or XE Falcon, and I wasn't working at the time. I was trying to find out window tinting prices and that. And
Yep.
old mate told me what it was, and I mean this is late 90s, and I think it was $450. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
Right.
You can't afford that.
Wow, I paid like $4,000 for the car. And I said, I tell you what, it doesn't seem that hard. I'll work for you for a week for free, and if you let me tint my car at the end of the week. He's like, you won't be able to. I'm like, what do you got to lose? Free labour for a week. And did the week, and tinted my car, not to a fantastic standard, but got it done.
Yeah.
They offered me a job. So that's how I fucking got into the tinting, and That was a really good part. It's kind of like your fabrication, your painting. That's one thing that anytime I've done anything with a shop or changed locations or whatever, I go back to tinning.
Yep.
Like, because it's like that's a foundation that'll get you in the door, that'll get some revenue rolling through, and then you can build from there, which is what I did with this. The first 6 months, 8 months was like tinting.
So that you still call it Wildside Garage?
Yeah. It's I started it because I didn't want to get pigeonholed to like Moddy's tinting.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, if I could come up with something, I was just sitting down having a beer one day, you know, mid-17, and I knew what I wanted to do, and just started coming up with names, and this one I just kept going back to it. It just, I don't know.
It's a cool name, mate.
I like it. There was so many names that were on there, and it was like, how's that going to get, messed with like a kid at school with a, rickety name that ends up getting called something you don't want to be called. And it's like, I needed something that was not pigeonholed, but I thought was cool, and I thought, well, I just kept coming back to this. But so you did all that. So you would have started in the panel beating spray paint when that was still one trade.
Not quite. No.
Okay.
I'd missed out on that. I was a spray painter.
Okay.
And but when you're in that type of game, you do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I got that trade, and like I said, went on to boiler making. I started making trailers, and then I went on to working for a bloke stretching trucks out and blowing. Back in the day, they were 38, 40-foot trailers. People wanted 44-foot trailers.
Yeah,
so
right.
Semis. So I started stretching all those and doing all that. So I sort of turned from panel beater spray painter into, heavy fab.
Yeah, I know that's stretching the big shit, not like straight off the bat. So
yeah. And I thought, there's a long way in between before coming back to working on cars. And then I went from that to drill rigs and was boiler making on, drilling rigs around Australia back in the day for OD&E, and then it turned into Enzyme. Yeah. And and then when I went out on my own for the first time, I was subcontracting to all the drill rigs anyway, doing maintenance and different things.
Okay, yep. Yeah. So right. And so what's that transition back into what you're doing now?
Well, I had a crew of people, and I had a shop and everything like that. And then in 2015, the whole oil and gas industry just collapsed.
Yep.
And it came to a raging halt. And I put on instead of, shitting myself and, letting everybody go, I actually spent more money and put on a business development manager.
Okay.
And he went out chasing work, and we're chasing any type of fabrication. So we got back into quarries and got back into all that type of maintenance in heavy fab. And then he sold a ute tray to a bloke. Anyway,
right.
And he was a builder. And he wanted his ute tray on his Land Cruiser, 2450 long.
Right.
Because he can get his 2400 sheets in it.
Yeah.
And then my drafty at the time, I didn't check it. He was working that out and everything, got the drawings out onto the blokes out in the shop.
Yeah.
Anyway, we fitted at the car and it went away, and then, a couple of months later he's turned up and he's gone, mate, doesn't fit the sheets in it. And I'm like, oh, no, sorry, bud. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll build you a whole brand new tray, just hold your horses for a couple of weeks, build you a whole brand new tray at the right length.
Yeah.
Swapped it out, and then I had an old welding. I was a ute that it was a Land Cruiser that we used to run around with the welding stuff on it, and I had the rollover leg type tray on it, like proper mine spec type thing, and it was like pretty rough looking. So I've put that tray that we built for his ute on that, and then I just cruised around the dealerships and said, hey, we sell trays now, blah, blah, blah. And that's how this whole thing started, with just a complete muck up. And instead of, trying to fix, make a silk purse out of a pig's ear with that ute tray, it was just easier to build a whole new one, and I turned it into something positive. And that's it.
That's crazy. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. That's the same thing with my 79 bonnets. That was a damaged bonnet that we'd swapped out for a customer, and I was just sitting there having a beer one over, looking at the GU shop truck, and I was like, we can cut that up and make that fit. And then that was it. Off from there. It's that's right. That's cool. I love it when, sort of despite everything else that's going on, the stars just fucking align and you just get hit with it.
Yeah, and I was not savvy on Facebook or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we sort of started getting known through the dealers and different things. And then we had another customer. We did quite a substantial build on his cruiser, like in the ute tray side of it, like extra toolboxes and drawers and all the rest. And I said, and he was a detailer, and they did like big stuff, trucks and buses and all that, and it was mobile. I said, how do you get your work? And he goes, we just put it on Facebook. I said, well, how though? Like I can put it on Facebook and we don't get known. Yeah. And he goes, no, you got to boost it. I'm like, I'm spending money on this voodoo type, you know.
Spending money on digital shit back then. It was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't believe it anyway, and I thought, oh well, I spent $50 one day, and then like on a Friday, and the phone was ringing on the Monday, and I'm like, fair dinkum. Yeah, but how's this go?
Yeah.
So then we just got into a routine of every Friday, you know, we'd do a post, and I'd boost it to Australia, and how it did. And the next step was I was still cruising around in a dual cab 79 that was like that I'd used to go to the field in and you know, check on the drill rigs and do everything with this 79.
Yeah.
Like, this is getting a bit rough. I want a 200, you know. And I thought, I'll get it chopped. And I cruised around and had a look at the other companies about, and it's not quite the workmanship I expect, and this and that. And so I went, you know what? I'm just going to buy a 200 and do it myself. Yeah. So instead of buying a second-hand one, I went and bought a brand spanking new one in 2016 and took it back to the shop and just cut her in half, and the rest is history.
Fuck me. Oh, it's a make or break point, that one. Jesus.
Oh, look, you've been around that long. You know that you can get stuff sorted out. So, we just made it happen. And that's been the whole thing, you know, with DMW. When we were doing field maintenance and everything, our logo was prompt, trusted quality. So, you know, make shit happen quick and make sure it's done well.
Yeah. Well, Barney, he was talking about he said, mate, I don't push anything other than Legend X. And he goes, but I'll push DMW. Because the quality of it is fucking mint.
No, that's greatly appreciated coming from those guys, you know.
Yeah.
And it's good to make friends in the industry, you know, like Barney, and that's how I met, obviously, Darren from the Little Rig.
Yeah.
You know, and then he came up and when Darren came up and said he wanted for his car, and he wanted to chop down and just chop that section out, and I said, man, that's just going to be way more work. Let's just hack it straight down there and just make it a single cab and put a tray on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And then, the rest is history with that too.
It's a good looking rig. It's come up really well. We because he reached out. I did one of the little 79 bonnets for someone in that group. I can't.
The JB74 Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when Darren reached out to me about doing the bonnets and stuff, because there was one that was on the little MAXTRAX truck.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it and going, it's pre-DPF. Can't be that hard. We'll just cut it down a bit, maybe cut a little bit more than we normally do. Fuck. Section, 3-piece section top. Oh, God, that was terrible. It was a lot of fun, and it come up good, but the chop that you guys did with that tray and canopy and all that stuff was, I mean, it looks fucking factory.
Well, I think the secret to that is, and I don't know whether other sort of smaller shops have got onto it, because when I did a post ages ago saying that, you know, I believe we're the best in the industry, and the reason, you know, no one else does an integrated roll bar, and then someone else said on the comments, oh, but I do. I'm like, well, where'd you get that from? Probably us.
Yeah,
probably copied us. So you can't stop people from copying you.
No.
But I actually wanted that perfect sweet roll, and that's how we come up with the 32 NB pipe.
Yep.
And obviously it does, you know, a multitude of things. When you put the sheet to it, all the heat soak goes into the heavier metal.
Yes.
Which then doesn't distort the rest of the paneling.
Yeah.
And then we have like the smallest amount of body filler in everything we do.
Yeah, I will say that, because there's been a couple that have come down here over the years where once X amount of years have passed or whatever, pardon me, some of the shops don't want to know about it, and half the wall's falling out, and you're like, it's fucking inch thick where the bog there. You're like, there's no sheet metal in the shaping of that. Like, that's one of the reasons. I mean, I've gone the tube I've gone the tube for the top section, so where my main framing is at the sort of the top of the door, like that body line. From there up, I've done the tube before. I've never done it all the way around though.
Yeah. Well, we do it right from the bottom.
Yeah.
And up, and then we tie it into the bottom of the actual cab.
Yeah.
And then, because you don't really want to tie it into anything else, you still need to have the cab, obviously, as you know, move all by itself. You can't put it to the chassis or anything. But anyway.
Yeah. That's what I mean. As much as you could see on a finished product, I was like, I had to look around. It was like, fuck, it's really nice work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. And look, the flat rear wall, that was an idea of my manager, actually. And he actually said, look, we don't want the actual presses in the back of it because we're going to get, all the mud and all the shit that builds up on there, and no one ever gets to clean it out because, the tray's on there, and if you're a farmer out west, you're not really going to be caring about that too much.
No.
So, and they rust out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and his background, he worked for Six Wheeler, so he'd been chopping cars and different things like that, and so it was an easy type transition, with my experience with chopping trucks and trailers, and his experience with chopping cabs, and obviously being a panel beater painter, it didn't really matter anyway.
So you guys are all in house for everything.
So we have got yes, we do everything in house, but we don't do trimming. So the paint and panel. We're that busy with cars, we've only got one painter and one panel beater and one booth and an area to work in. So that gets very, very tricky to get all the work through. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we subby that out a bit and to different particular shops. Yeah. And then we've got one trimmer that trims everything. Yeah,
I use Braden down at the Braden's Custom Trim a bit for he's done bike seats for me and all other little bits and pieces, but it's that on its own, that's a fucking artwork, getting those bloody lines straight. I couldn't do it. Not my flavour.
I'm not much good with tits, tyres or wires. But I'll give it all a crack, but trimming is not in my forte.
Yeah, no. It's a little bit too fiddly for my fingers. I'm a bit too rough for dicking around with all that. But I don't know, it is what it is. As far as the builds, because you've done a heap. So what's because I went back through as much as I could sort of see, and you start chopping trucks. Now you're doing that's a whole different shift. And then how does that go from doing that to landing on 24/7 and those sort of shows? Is that like a media or a business development, like you were saying, marketing thing, or is it?
Look, it's marketing. Okay. I mean, if you've spoken to Barney about it and different things, 24/7 is a marketing platform.
Yeah.
So it's a pay to play.
Yeah.
Scenario, and look, they've done very well for themselves, and obviously it was four-drive action. Yeah. Back before Sean got hold of it.
Yep.
And then got it to YouTube, and so look, it was a good time of my life. But obviously moved on. It's a very expensive game.
Yeah.
And
I've heard.
it's not something that I can pursue any longer.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for the demographic that watch the show. You need the kids of the kids to tell the grandparents to say, hey, and have you heard of these guys and everything like that? And that used to happen a bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like if I sold throttle controllers like Ultimate 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it all happens. Sub $500, that show is just sensational and will make your business boom.
Yeah. But obviously you get a bit of the because obviously you guys are doing your own filming and stuff like that now. And I scrolled back, I was like, we'll see how far back I can go. What's the first YouTube upload? And I think it was about 5 years ago that I saw of it. And it was like that kind of timeline of going out and spending time with those boys and then transitioning, because Barney did the same thing, and then you're transitioning to filming your own stuff. It's like, it seems like it would be a lot less, I don't want to say a lot less pressure, but it would be a lot more time to enjoy, capture some footage and go and have fun.
Absolutely. So before I went on 24/7, we'd started making a few little videos and different things, and we weren't very good at it. Okay, and that comes with confidence as well.
Yeah.
And the more you're in front of the camera, and the more you do these things, I've never done this thing before, but you get comfortable chatting about your product and just talking to people in general.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your haters out there, and you're going to have people that love you. So I think the people that like you are more than the haters. And I think a lot of the haters in that field, I think they're just jealous people anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot that we've brought. This has come up a couple of times. There's definitely a lot of that whole keyboard warrior, shit these days. And I mean, my biggest drama with this place and that sort of mentality is I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut because you just want to write back, fuck off.
Exactly, and I'm like, sometimes I've written a few replies and then I've just deleted it.
Yeah, I know.
And gone.
I do the same thing.
I can't fucking say that.
I know. Like, pull your fucking head in, Ben. Can't write that.
But yeah, look, that certainly helped with getting my personality out there.
Yeah.
Because if you you can be the coolest bloke in the world, but if no one knows you, no one's going to appreciate it or follow you or do anything.
Yeah.
And look, that was great. It gave me a bit more of a profile, and but likes and photos doesn't turn into dollars in my business.
No, true.
So we needed to look at different things. Like I was on 24/7. I'm beating the hell out of touring cars, not four-wheel drives.
Yeah.
I'm sending 750 stretch 200s up mad hills in Victorian high country.
Yeah.
Snapping axles and CVs, and they're going, "Oh, you're a bit hard on the gear." I'm going, "Well, I'm trying to push 5 ton up here, mate."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're in a cruiser with like a bedroll in the back, and that's it.
Yeah. It does. It was. I went back through and watched a couple, and it's definitely. I think it was hit up the YouTube for a sec. I think it was the Hero Y62. Doing was because you had the Y61 and the Y62.
Yeah. So that was the day I wanted to get the first Y62 up Birraclock Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we brought the time forward instead of waiting because it was just how the day was rolling with the breast cancer weekend, and there was so I was just about to go on another trip to Tasmania with 24/7.
Yeah.
So that vehicle was going into the workshop to get overhauled because every trip that you do and every time you beat on it, you had to do massive amounts of maintenance.
Yeah.
So you had to change CVs, you had to do different things before you went on the trip because you didn't want to have one that you'd been beaten on and the first track you hit somewhere, it breaks. So with that one, I thought I'd put on a bit of a show and had a bit of a crawl up the hill because I thought I'll just crawl this.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't. So I just belted it. Come up and just snap both CVs at once.
Oh shit, that's an interesting angle. There you go.
Yeah.
What's that? That's 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's before they closed Land Cruiser Mountain Park.
So, do you know any kind of behind the scenes sort of stories on why that shut? Was it because all I heard was it was new owners and insurance, and they just went fuck us to it?
No, it wasn't insurance. What it was, I think it's changed hands since again.
Right.
Yeah, but it was a mining company or something that bought it, and they can get their green tickets or whatever for it, and then so they leave it as just a caravan park type thing now, and I think it's even closed for that now.
Because they dropped the Land Cruiser, didn't they? It was just mountain park for a while, and then now it's nothing.
Well, yeah, I actually haven't researched it since because I haven't been able to go there. It was a shame because I hadn't spent as much time as I would have liked there.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. I don't know. It's a shame, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's obviously now. I thought it was insurance. I thought someone had taken it over and went, "Oh shit, that's a bit more than we sort of thought," and pulled the pin on it. But that's just annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because I know insurance is a big thing at the moment, and they've got to get overseas insurers just so they can get insurance, and that's why there's a change thing cruising around on Facebook for Lucas is trying to make everyone aware that because if he can't get insurance, well, that's his whole business completely cactus.
Yeah, gone.
All the money he's invested into that, and it's the same with the one down south. They had to close with that. So
just because of insurance.
Yeah.
What's it like for when you guys go away and do your trips and stuff like that? Is there off-road insurance? Because I mean, I've had no issues with damage off-road, but I mean, I'm assuming that when you're doing a trip and it's like a corporate expense or however all that shit works, you're in a company car. If you damage something, is that
No, it's under insurance.
It is still under
yeah,
insurance.
because if you're on a if you're like if it's a gazetted road,
Yeah.
it might be a mad track. But
Yeah.
it's on the map, so
Right.
yeah, so you're still covered. You're not actually in it. So if you go and bin your car in a Ford drive park,
Yep.
that's a bit of a different story.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
where it is. Okay.
So trips aren't a bad thing because if you're on a road per se,
Yeah.
yeah, you're sorted.
Right. And of all the builds that you've done, whether they're like a customer's one or something for you guys, or do you have a favourite? Have you got something that just stands out?
Oh, look, they are all sensational, and they've all got their own character.
Yeah.
And there's no one car that's exactly the same out there. So, and you see things and go, oh, maybe like with my 200 when I built Gloria, I went 750 and we thought that was going to be the go, but wished I'd sort of brought it back to the 650. It just looked a little bit better on all the other builds.
Yeah.
But I mean, mine, body lifted and jacked right up in 37s. It looked like a full-on American truck anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just the running gear wasn't quite tough enough for when you were completely overloaded. 4.5 ton, like the 200 series, will be sorted all day, and you'll still be able to tow with that fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when you start trying to beat on them. I mean, yeah, they take a fair bit of beating. Like if you, like when I was wheeling that car on 37s and like,
You have 37s on that?
yeah, the
Shit.
green 200 had 37s on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all my cars have 37s on it.
Fair goal. Fair goal.
Yeah, so we had to do lots of modifications on the 200 to make sure that the 37s fitted. But
Yeah.
so you imagine all that rolling inertia on axles and CVs. They just didn't have a chance, especially when you like overloaded with all your stuff. Like, because in the end I started taking axles with me, and I started taking CVs and like you name it. It was it packed in big Gloria, the 200.
It's yeah, I did notice that over the course of sort of 2017, 2018, I think I started noticing in those sorts of shows where they just had spares in the drawers or in the back or in the whatever. What the fuck would you have? Like, we've got one of these. You're like, fuck, it must break a bit. You must have a bit of a run list of the top sort of 5 or so things that are potentially going to go wrong.
Oh, look, they don't tell you to do that though. Like they make sure bring a bit of oil or a fan belt or something.
Yeah.
And that's about it. It's you learn yourself, and then obviously if you break it on the tracks, that makes a better show anyway for that type of audience.
Yeah, for sure. Have you got? Well, I guess first thing before I go down that track would be when you're going away. Nothing to do with filming and content creating. Just you guys, your family, all that. Are you beach or bush?
I like a mixture of both, to be honest. Look, bush camping near a river with grass, and a bit of shady cover.
Yeah.
I don't reckon you can beat that because you can kick the old deck chair back, have a few beers, throw a line in. The beach can be a bit hectic, especially like I love Fraser and I love Tiawa Beach.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've changed the name of Tiawa now. What's the Fraser Kilgary or whatever now?
Oh, I can't keep up with it.
No, and I don't know whether they've even changed Tiawa Beach and Rainbow Beach, but they're obviously probably the most epic places you can go to. But now it is just so overcrowded. You go there to relax. You got people, running up and down the beach 24 hours a day. You're not going there to relax.
No, that's why we like King Kuna.
Okay.
So, have you been to King Kuna?
Nah. Oh, that's Gympie, isn't it?
It's just south of Bundy.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I have been to King Kuna. Yeah,
that's my favourite spot. That beach is all me. But I can't believe we've had this conversation that many times now. I can't believe I keep forgetting it. The Kenilworth campground.
Yeah.
Shane up at the dairy farm up there. There's a spot down the back where it's half the time it's sectioned off, but every now and then you can get in there, and it's just a quiet little cove through a bit of bush, and it just opens up to 100 square meters. What is that? What's 100 square meters? That's 10 by 10. No, it's a lot bigger than that. Might be 500 square meters, say.
Yeah.
And it's just at the point of the little creek that runs through into a little bit of open water there. And at the right time of year when that water's nice and the water's flowing a bit,
and you just lay in there.
Yeah, right. There's a log right at where it bottlenecks, and it just runs over your shoulders. Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
It's so good. Haven't been there long. I fucking keep saying this. Really get away.
yeah, it's a bit chilly now.
Yeah, right now probably would be. Hey, what are we? We're still in summer.
Yeah, but
It's just finished.
it's turned though. Like,
Has it?
It's autumn, but
Yeah.
it's the weather's turned. Like, it's not.
Yeah, last 2 days.
Yeah, like it's unless it's. I don't know. We're just so used to having a nice hot summer. It's gone cold in the last couple of days. We're freaking out like North Queenslanders.
Yeah. I'm still going through like 2 or 3 shirts a day here. It's like this old building, there's no insulation in the roof. And with the pitch of it, whenever you get to about 2 or 3 meters towards each edge, the pitch in the roof, the fucking heat that radiates off this is nuts. Anyway, it is what it is. It's an excuse to have cold beer at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a fairly warm part of the world, though.
This is true.
You know, like you go to the Dobbo's workshop up there, and it's got a big high roof, and I mean,
Yeah.
oh, you are sweating.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. What do you guys... I keep seeing a lot of Renos and bits and pieces going on up at your HQ.
Yeah. So we bought that a few years ago now, and it was all gravel, you know, outside and
Yeah.
everything like that. And we're building, you know, $200,000+ vehicles, and our premises wasn't the flashiest looking.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
our workmanship is good, but you know, you've got to keep up with the times. And we've decided to concrete it all, and it just takes money and time.
For
Like
sure.
Before that, we're obviously pumping heaps of money into marketing,
Yeah.
and you didn't really have much spare money to go and do what I'm doing now.
No, and that's the thing. There's probably, like you said, you might have all the following and all the likes and all the interactions online, but it doesn't all turn into dollars. It's it feels all fuzzy and warm to sit down and go, oh yay, but then you still got to capitalize on it. So I get that.
Yeah, like any business person understands, you got to have ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
And if it gets to that time where you're throwing dollars out the window, more than what's coming in,
Yeah.
like that's catastrophe.
Yeah, and like I had the same conversation with Gleno a while ago about what they did when they transitioned from what was then Action to Low Range was first, and then they were talking about having beers when he was down here filming one of the episodes, and he's just like, it's just so different now. Like back then, the big dollar production costs were covered by like sponsors, and now most of them are able to just give a bit of product away here and there, and what are the influencers?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's
Influenzas.
and yeah, he's like, it's just so different, and like the dollars that are spent on the shows are just nuts.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge dollars. And like, I went down the road there, obviously it was fairly popular when I got off 24/7 and people wanted to advertise it. And so went, oh, whatever, like pay me a couple of bucks here and there. But then, like, I wanted to focus on DMW.
Yeah.
I didn't want to focus on having to go and, promote
everybody else's
other
stuff.
company stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I say now, I'm quite happy for you guys to put your products on the vehicles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go and give you a massive plug and an ad type thing.
Yeah.
But people are going to see me using it out doing what I'm doing with my family, and I can say, hey, this is working really, really well.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. I don't want to just shove it down everyone's throat. I don't want to be obligated to have to meet KPIs of what they expect.
Yeah, we've had all those conversations with this new show we're putting together for the build series stuff, and it's like there's none of that. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'll use it, and it'll be in the background, or it'll be on a truck or on the wall or whatever. But I keep doing. We're not going to sit there and go, we recommend Great Northern beer, because it's just that fucking hard sell ruins shows.
Absolutely. And I mean, look,
Having said that, fuck yes.
but you don't actually have to, like you say, jam it down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
Unless they're paying you. massive dollars,
Yeah.
and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Fuck, why not?
Well, there's that.
But if you're getting 10 grand here or whatever, or they're just giving you the product to shout out about it,
Yeah.
it's just it costs money. You know what you're doing here costs money.
Yeah.
I'm making videos and doing whatever else for the DMW channel,
Yeah.
and if I'm talking more about other people's product, like that's costing me money. I'm paying editors and cameramen and all the rest.
Yeah, we and it is the editing. I've found with the build series, capturing the footage has been fine. Like it's still. I think I did this with Sam Young's bonnet when I did that for him because he wanted me to capture some stuff, and I put it together as a bit of a video. I think the video was like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
The amount of more time I spent on doing the job because I was moving cameras and shit around.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going to look good here? But then I'll get a bit into it and I'll kind of forget I'm filming it. But fuck, all right, got to go move the camera again. And it had to take me twice as long to do the job.
Yeah, for sure it does. But the biggest thing there is when you go to edit it,
Yeah.
like it takes twice as long again because you got to scrub through it all and you go, oh, was that a good bit? And then you find another good bit and you're like, oh, fuck, I'll take that out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's we handed over the for both the podcast and for the build series. We've handed over. We got ClearShot on board for that editing and all that because I can't do it. I can't get I don't. It's one of those things. It's like I don't know enough. I know enough to know I don't know enough.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the group there.
So that's what you're partnered with.
Yeah, so everybody on there. So, I mean, there's a lot of long-term relationships there. Like, you know, I mean, Barney's and MAXTRAX has been like day one, Raptors day one. Yokohama, actually, I got introduced to Yokohama through the boys at Method, so that was a nice little crossover. West Coast through West Coast suspension through direct suspension, like Hurricane. I mean, you guys you'd have a bit of a calling for swapping seats out through some of that, wouldn't you?
Not really.
No?
No. Like
I mean, the new stuff's so comfy anyway.
yeah, we don't really want to be like this is where it gets a little bit hard.
Yeah.
Like people will come to us and want us to build an 80 series or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like that'd be cool, but they're never going to pay the dollars that we need to keep our shop open.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So the drama, yeah, like that type of thing. Like we don't do seats. Like we're mainly suspension. You know, wheels,
GVM
tires.
stuff,
Yeah. You know, and look, we're getting really big into the GVM space.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is cool. Like you've got your show happening,
Yeah.
and you've obviously got the podcast,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So these guys here, do they actually help you with product, or they help you with with customer stuff, or it's just a win-win? They buy your beers and you put their name up on the TV.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, they're all a bit different. So, like, I mean, Barney, I can't, Barney and Gleno, I can't give them enough credit because they have both been, since I met them, like 3 years ago, I was having a bit of a shit day and wasn't even really thinking about it, but Barney rang and just was like, oh, I just wanted to touch base on this. I think we did a Chrome delete or something like that. It was whatever it was. It was very simple on, might have been his wife's 200. And he touched base on something, and you know, later on that day he showed up and he's like, mate, you just sounded like a bit like shit on the phone. He just wanted to call it CE Dillon and make sure you're. I was like, both of them were really. They just gave more time than what I was expecting, and that's not to say that they came across like they wouldn't give time, but I just was like who the fuck am I? You know, these guys
but
meet
like
that many people.
No, but it's not that. I think that, and Barney will vouch for this as well, and you know, I'm probably Glenn, but you know, once you've been on the big channels like 24/7 and all that sort of stuff, and different things goes on in business and all the rest, you can get completely fried, hey, and your mental health plummets.
Yeah.
And if you don't have people that check on you and say, hey, buddy, you know, you're just okay.
Yeah.
You know, and look, I struggle all the time with mental health. I don't know about the rest of the blokes out there, but I think it's just the pressures that are on people today, and let alone putting a business in front of that and a family, and if you've got any issues in that family, man, does it grind you down.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And for someone, you know, like Barney to come over and do that, man, like, cheers, bud. legend.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's like, yeah. I mean, there's been conversations, and it sort of started at the end of 22. Like I had all hell break loose in 6 months of the last 6 months of 22. Just oh god, anything that could go wrong went wrong. I mean, at one point I had one of the guys that was here was sleeping in the showroom because he was homeless and he was fucking had a swag in here a few nights. There was that many different things, and long story short, I got to the end of 22 and I was like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. We went from all the guys that were here to me over the course of X amount of months, and I just don't know if I'm going to go back. I just think I'm done. Like I don't pretend to understand the intricacies and what goes on in people's minds when that whole depression thing gets to a point where they take action in a direction. I did get to a point where I was like, I never ever would I think about doing something like that, and I didn't then, but I got to a point where I had a better understanding. I was like, I'm starting to get why people go down that track. I'm starting to get more of an understanding of it. I was like, I fucking had enough.
Well, you just, like, once you get that bad, you just start digging and digging and digging further down, and nothing can get you back out of it. It's just a spiral to nowhere. It's a really, really shit thing, and unless you've experienced it, no one else can understand. They go, well, it's fucking weak as piss, you know? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, and that's been something that's played on my mind, and it really was because I spoke to a couple of the guys. Barney was one, Gleno was one. There was a Dan Fox Finance. I've known Dan for 20 odd years. Like there was a few of the guys that I spoke to. I think Paulie was definitely still with MAXTRAX then, so it would have been Paul as well. I had a couple of conversations because I let some people know that I was like, I just don't know if I'll be back next year.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was like, do what's right for you, but you know, why don't you just take Christmas and have it, think about it. They're super supportive. And it wasn't as much as the conversations were really beneficial. It wasn't the conversations. It wasn't the words that were said. I sat back one afternoon and I was like, I have idolized, you know, a lot of these guys, you know, coming up, and you know, and I was like, I've got that. Again, it wasn't the words. It was the fact that I had their phone numbers and I could make that call and they would pick up the phone. Yeah. I was like, man, I need to pull my fucking shit together. Like this. I mean, okay, we've lost some staff. You know, things didn't go right. It's really, if that's all I've got to bitch about, maybe I need to just fucking put my big boy pants on and keep going. So I talked myself through it, and it was those conversations. So there's people up there and companies up there that are, you know, that are part of this because they would have been anyway. But there's other parts like the like MCC 4x4, you know, Steve in-house. Actually, Steve at in-house who does our snorkels, you know, again, Barney. Fucking open door. Yeah. Mate, you know, talk to this bloke. He'll do it for you. Like, it's just the group that we've put together as far as all of that stuff does is, I mean, it's just a cool group. It's like if I was building something like what I build, not, you know, because we don't touch any of the new stuff. Like I'm 80s, 100s, GUs, like, you know, what was the newest GU was probably a Series 4. Like, that's my playground. Yeah. You know, and again, Huracan for all their stuff because we put all the XR6 seats and stuff because it's, you know, it's a shitload easier when you're dealing with them.
It's a huge market though.
It is.
And like with all these new trucks being independent suspension, like it just makes it hard to wheel. Like back in the day, I was a Hilux man. Like I'd had Hiluxes and I'd never broken a CV in my life. Like but we were running like 31-inch tyres. That was like when I was a young fella. Yeah. You know, you could beat the shit out of them. And like I went to independent front, and I'm like, "What is this shit? Yeah. Why is this happening?"
I had a laugh. Your new 79 series review. Like for anybody that hasn't watched that was brilliant. I was like, he said everything I've been fucking thinking, and you even said now that we've said everything that everybody's been thinking. Fuck, they're ugly. I didn't realize the gap. Yeah, that extra bit of paneling because I hadn't popped the bonnet on one.
Well, everything else is the same. They've just made some new guards.
Hit that YouTube channel, and I think it's maybe the third or fourth video down.
It's a fairly recent one.
Yeah, just hit the go. Yeah, just do DMW. Hit video. Oh, where is it? There you go.
Yeah.
The LC79. Oh, the facelift on this thing is retarded.
It's just fucking revolting.
Get ready to hit pause. I reckon it's probably about 27 seconds in. Cause you're like two different blokes. That's so funny watching
What?
that. Just you go from this, you know, the no glasses to this,
Yeah.
and it's like two different. But you can see it from here.
Yeah. Like that's, and you know what it is? It's the laws now on new vehicles. You can't have a scoop.
Really?
Yeah, because when you go over the bonnet, right, and you're as a pedestrian, apparently it's going to cause more damage to you.
Well, press pause. That is just. I don't know what the PC word is, but that's fucking retarded.
Like you can see where the old guards used to bolt on.
Yeah, it's like the same subframe. Like the whole front is. That's mental.
Yeah.
I hadn't even noticed that. I looked at the. It was the face on for me was like a Jeep had some sort of influence or.
Well, they're trying to get the old school, you know, cruiser look.
40s and that. Yeah.
I mean, look, if it had a normal style bonnet on it, maybe.
I just look. Fuck me. Can't have a scoop. Well, let us lift them up higher, and then they won't hit so high. Up
Hold
the
on a
bottom.
minute. So if you have a scoop on a 79
Yeah.
and you get belted, right, at 60k an hour, I don't think the fucking scoop is your problem.
No. No, there's that. I think the bull bar and whatever else there is, because that's why they outlawed you can't have the rod holders on anything without rods in them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because yeah,
And then there's like when you build bull bars and different things, you need a certain radius.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to have that sharp edge. You can't just have a point to point with a piece of sheet anymore.
but look, I mean, I can't really stretch my imagination to work out why a 2-inch high opening.
I mean, it doesn't affect what you do, but with all these new laws and everything that
For
comes
the
in with
new
the new
vehicles,
cars, like
yeah.
you want to see the hoops that we have to jump through to get our GVMs and our chops through and everything, because we don't just go through an engineer and do one. Like it's a full federal approval.
Yeah, because I'm almost. I mean, I don't fall under this because I don't modify it enough to need to. But my stuff would almost be down the ICV stuff, whereas you guys are
Full federal SSM.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you're not really going to be fully federally approved unless it's a new car. So there's no point going back to an 80 and going, oh, I'm just going to go and, you know, do all the brake testing and shit for that and get a GVM for it, because you're not going to have anyone in the market.
No, and I mean, even that's all. There's been that many different suspension and tyre combinations now that the whole lanes change thing for them is like, well, does it have this suspension? Does it have that? Have we done this? Yeah, okay, cool.
But the biggest problem that if you try and test anything as a passenger vehicle,
Yeah.
it is very, very hard. So with all this type of testing to get GVMs, you go into a NB1 category, which is a medium goods carrying vehicle.
Yeah.
That's what we change our vehicles to.
Yeah.
So it's 3.5 tonne to 4.5 tonne. And then you don't have to do a swerve test, a lanes change test. So it is just purely braking.
Yeah.
So
okay.
now, from July, you have to for NB1. So you tell me an Isuzu NP300 truck, okay, a 4.5 tonne truck,
Yeah.
how is it going to change lanes at a certain amount of speed versus a cruiser? So this is where I get irritated with the whole, you know, government and you can get federal approval for stuff in Australia, but each state has their own set of rules as well.
Yeah. See, that's so dumb.
So I've got my GCM in other states in Australia. You can tow 3.5 tonne and have 4.5 tonne on your car. You
Yeah.
know, but in Queensland, you can't, because you have to do a GCM test and all the rest of the stuff. And They based the GCM test off a road in America.
What?
Okay. Yep. So in Utah, there's a mad road that you have to drive up, and you have to hold 60 km an hour with that all up there. So my argument is, when we're talking to these people, we're not in fucking America, mate. Like, why do we have to, do that? And we don't have big Duramaxes and all the rest of the stuff. So why do we have this acceleration, blah, blah, blah? And my argument with the Four Drive Council, actually, we were talking about what we had to lobby with Canberra. And I said to them, the same thing. Go get me an Isuzu little truck and do a GCM test, towing 4 tonne or 3.5 tonne, and expect it to get to 60 km an hour in X amount of time. It just ain't going to happen. So they have such queer rules, and you just got to jump through all these hoops, and you've got to try and make sure that you've dotted every I and crossed every T, and to get that approval, it can take 12 months.
And yet, someone like Toyota, like you did in that video, can... What was it that they did so they didn't have to have the ANCAP airbags or something?
Yeah. So what they did was they were the category lower, right? So they weren't a medium good carrying vehicle, right? When they were at 3350.
Yes.
So all they had to do was change to 3.5 tonne, and they got into NB1, and you didn't have to have side impact.
Did they at least fix the wheel track?
No, nothing's changed on that.
They've put spacers in the guards, no scoop.
Yeah.
And a POV 4-cylinder. Oh, I can't say that. I know there's people that like the 4-cylinder.
Oh, look, they're going to be popular with fleet and all that sort of shit. You can't tell me that a Hilux will tow a Caravan at 3.5 tonne better than a 79 Cruiser V8. It's just, there's no substitute for cubes. And especially those 4.5 litre V8s with a bit of, work.
Yeah.
Tuning a turbo and some injectors. Wow.
Someone said that to me the other day, which I haven't ever used. There's no replacement for displacement.
That's right.
I was like, fuck yes. I remember that. That's so old, but I love it. What's next on your build wish list?
Well, I've got my GQ on the go. That's just getting a nice tray and a dog box and all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a nice car, hasn't been ever fucked with, so it's too nice to go and wheel. It'll be my daily type thing.
Yeah.
I've got my GU that you've seen a few times. I've got a hell of a lot of work I've got to do to that, but I've just got to get back to it.
Is that replacement or fixing weekends away work? Or a bit of both?
Well, it needs a respray and things from the missus rolling it and different things like that, and me smashing the sill and shit.
That's right. Yep.
I've got all the Razzler stuff there to go on that now. But because I bought it off Jesse Gleason, actually, and he's on 24/7.
Oh, Jesse, yeah.
So I bought it off him, and he'd bought it off a mate or whatever else, and they galvanised the chassis.
Oh, really?
So, and they've got different plates and whatever else. It's a bit wild. So I've got to modify the Razzler side steps to fit whatever they've done to this chassis on this GU.
Yeah, right.
And I haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah.
So, and look, I've got my Jeep. It's in pieces.
Yeah.
But it's no fault of the Jeep. I changed the diff gears and they were shit, and smashed it all to pieces. And instead of driving around with no lockers, I thought, fuck it, we'll put some ARB air lockers in it.
Okay.
And we'll put all chrome molly shafts in it. But we've had a dickens of a time getting the right stuff to fit. I'm on my second set of axles that we've sourced.
Yeah, right.
And the first mob sent us, I don't know what they were. They must have been the old JK stuff, but older than that, because they had the proper uni like a tail shaft on the front axles, and they didn't fit, and they didn't have the disengage, 4-drive disengage on it and all that. So anyone out there that needs these type of axles, contact me. I've got a set for sale.
Half a container of them.
And then you find out when you do all this stuff, no one in Australia wants to tell you or help you really with anything. So we've since found, except for Jeff, do it in the dirt fella. He's got his Rubicon, the wagon one.
Yep.
The Wrangler.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And he actually said to me, when you replace the diff centers, you actually have to get the model down from the Rubicon axles because they're the same length to fit the centre. And we'd ordered Rubicon ones thinking that it's all going to be sweet. So everyone out there, if you've got a Jeep and you've got a Rubicon, make sure you get the standard length axles, not the Rubicon axles if you're going to go. So there's
so random.
Yeah, all this stuff that you find out, and it's very, very costly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and people, you buy the product and you say to them, I need it to fit this, this, and this, and they go, yeah, no worries. And you say, you sure that's going to fit? They go, yeah, yep. And
Yeah,
then, and then they turn around and go, when you go, well, look, can I just send that back?
Yeah,
They go,
fuck no.
They go, no.
Yeah.
And you go, well, it's not being used. Like, can't you put it back into stock or something? Like,
Yeah. Sell it to the next prick that you don't give a fuck enough about to bloody check your shit. I don't know where you bought it from, so I don't know who they are, but it's one of those things where that whole customer service based. Yeah, give her here. Dead Soldiers, you want another one?
oh, absolutely.
Fuck yeah, there we go.
It's a bear shit in the woods.
Yeah, that whole the customer service stuff these days. There's so much. I mean, I was commenting on this not that long ago because I started. Your first job was Macca's too, yeah? Were you at the butcher shop first?
Butcher.
My first job was Macca's, and like 14, I was everything I could do at that age. I was there. Buddy, learners was 16 and 6 months. I think we get your learners.
Yeah, 16 now.
Driver's license, fucking 17 on the dot, 14, 9 months, Macca's. I was sick of school, sick of walking. But we went through, there wasn't the Macca's at Stafford didn't have the voice box. They ordered at the first window.
Yeah.
And it was something to the effect, I'm going to paraphrase, but something to the effect of, g'day, well, I don't even know that we were allowed to say g'day, but it was something like, welcome to McDonald's Stafford, my name's Ben, can I take your order?
Yeah.
Please, there was probably a please in there. Today, the amount of fucking drive-thrus that I go through to get a coffee or whatever, and you go, and you get to the box and it's like, hi, or what do you want? Or
Yeah, it is. There's no customer service. Back when we were young, we got our ass kicked. Bad.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
gone.
Yeah.
Even at that basic level of McDonald's. And it's the same thing. I've rung that many places for parts for different bits and pieces because there's not a lot of copy and paste. Sometimes I'll get stuck and I'm like, I just don't know. So you've got to get someone on the phone and you're like, again, is it going to fit? Are you sure it's going to fit? Is there anything I need to worry about? This, that, and whatever else. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of because, again, a lot of the guys on the phone are just an employee. They don't give a fuck.
No, they don't. And the thing is, though, like, it got that bad to get staff. You're just putting bums on seats.
Yeah.
And everybody was in the same boat. So what else could you do?
No, that's right. That's been a tricky part here, trying to find like an accessory fitter, someone to do the bits that I'm okay with handing off, as long as they know what they're doing, like whether it be like the suspension or like a wire on a winch, nothing crazy, but finding people that you can put in there that have got a bit of an idea about what they're doing, it's just getting so hard.
It is. And look, I think, Australia has got a lot of answers for, whether it comes to manufacturing or it comes down to, like mechanics or whatever, like shops. No one's putting on enough apprentices. And the problem with overseas manufacturing is, where are your fitter and turners? Where are your boiler makers? Where are you, everything? Where have they gone? It's because we haven't been training people. We were in abundance. Or,
Yeah.
now we're sought after. And a lot of people earn more than doctors and whatever else that are good tradespeople.
Yeah, and either they're costing them lots each week, or they've just given up worrying about it and gone out and done their own thing.
Well, there's that as well.
Because there's a couple of guys that I spoke to that applied for jobs early 23, and I was like, never again. It's just me. Whatever I can handle, that's all I'll do.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to ring people back going, you still looking for work? $2,000 a week.
Yeah.
Or this, or they're doing their own thing, which is awesome. I mean, good on them. But it's, fuck. Finding people that have got some skills that haven't gone out on their own, or aren't getting paid crazy money. It's just, and it's the jack of all trades that's become a bit rare too. Finding people that have more than one skill set and or are willing to do more than one type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where you get, someone coming in that, there might be a 12-volt guy. You know, well, I'm not here to fit a tray. You know, I'll wire it up when it's on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck, mate, it's an extra pair of hands.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you know.
look, basic. We're after a truck driver,
Yep.
right? That who can be a bit of a yardman, cruise around the forklift, pack a bit of stuff away, then go and help the guys in the workshop. You know, maybe fit some tyres or you
Yeah.
know bolt down a tray like that. So you're not stuck just driving a truck. You know, from Toowoomba to Brisbane or cruising around the tilt tray and just picking up same cars or whatever else.
Yeah.
You actually get a bit of experience or a bit of variety.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I don't really like getting out of the truck or this or that or.
Blows my fucking mind.
Wow, when I was early 20s, had the shits with the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Where's that job?"
Yeah. Yeah, shit, yeah. God, I couldn't imagine. I mean, look, for everybody that does it, fair enough. But for me personally, like, that creativity and getting out and keeping my mind busy, like, that, sitting in a truck all day would drive me mental.
Yeah.
Like, that I couldn't do. If someone had a job was like, all you got to do is drive here, drive back, drive here, drive back, that would do my head in.
But like, it's just everywhere. Everybody's got the same issues,
Yeah.
and then this is the different thing. Like, people see me, going nuts on a car and beating the shit out of it or whatever. But no one sees behind the scenes what you've actually got to do to have the whole company running.
For sure.
Oh, we've got nearly 50 staff, which is not huge in the scheme of things with other types of big companies, but that is a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of stuff going on at all times.
Yeah. That's my drama with this place. I've looked at expanding a couple of times, but I'm a shit boss. I'm a sucker for a sob story, and I don't like managing people because I like getting along with everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need like I spoke to Paul when he finished up with MAXTRAX, because obviously ex-detective.
Yeah.
And I was like, anytime, I would hate to be somebody that let that man down, because fucking, if he's just not in a great mood, you feel like and he's not that much older than me, but he has that persona of like, kind of commands like respect, and it's like almost like your dad telling you off something. Like, fuck, Jesus, I wouldn't want someone like that down here. That'd pull some people in the line.
It's hard, yeah. You got to find a happy medium, because and it's different to when we were younger as well.
Yeah.
You could bark at us and we'd go, "Oh yeah, no worries."
Yeah,
Like,
now
now you
everybody gets
can't.
offended. I'm offended. Good. Then what I said fucking worked.
Now slip into it.
That's right. Oh my god. Oh. So what's the future? What's the future for DMW? Are you guys pretty much like kicking all the goals, ticking all the boxes? Good God. Ticking all the boxes, kicking all the goals?
Look, business is it's on a bit of a roller coaster in Australia at the moment, I think, for a lot of places. And we had such a purple patch, such an unbelievable time with COVID. And I thought that everything was going to go tits up with COVID, but they did the complete opposite.
Yeah, we were the same.
And we not grew hugely, but in the middle of that COVID, we had 200s coming to an end as well.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "I'm not buying a V6. I'm not doing this. I'm not having a 300." And we got absolutely mentally smashed with orders at that particular time. And we knew at the end of the 200 that it was going to, fall off the cliff a little bit. And it did to a certain degree, but then we were, obviously got more and more customers out there and got more well known and grew. Our work didn't really, fade.
Yeah.
And now, this year, we had a pretty good January, but February just fell off the cliff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But for you guys, because most of your stuff is pre-rego.
Yeah, it is. But there's a fair bit of post-rego as well.
That was what I was going to say, because I knew most of your gear was that sort of brand new pre-delivery stuff. But for somebody that's got a 200 or has bought a second-hand one or whatever, you can still do all that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And we've got, I think it's up to 15 dealers around Australia at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's mainly for GVM. So you don't get you can order a chop through those guys if they really had to, but they'd probably send it back to us to talk to the customer and all that.
Yeah.
And look, we get vehicles all over Australia come to us. Like, obviously, Toyota they redirect cars. When you buy it from a dealership in Melbourne, it'll come into the port of Brisbane. That car will come to us. We'll do whatever, and then it gets back on the Toyota truck and goes back down and gets delivered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the same with Nissan and all the rest of the stuff. So there's Ford we're trying to get on the redirect now, because we really want to focus on, like, that new Ranger is a pretty cool ute. V6 turbo diesel. It's got plenty of nuts, and if you put 300 in the chassis and put a decent sized tray on it, looks absolutely epic. And if you're going to be at the 4x4 show, you'll see it on the Dobinson stand.
Okay.
A mate of mine wanted a vehicle, and I convinced him, said, mate, put 300 in the chassis, we'll just change it. And he just hasn't looked back. It's just absolutely epic. So we're getting more and more orders for those. So we need people who are in Darwin or whatever else, like, they don't want to be paying the bill of the vehicle, coming to us and then having to go back. And that's the whole idea with the like Toyota, Ford, whatever, the redirection to the bodybuilder or to the second stage manufacturer.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, I know I'm going to say PX2. I saw one of them that had there was a dual cab that had maybe an extra cab tray on it or tub.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't even know, it could have been a Photoshop thing. I don't know, it was online, but I was like, it looked like an American truck.
Yeah.
And because I had for ages, the first respray I did when I was using the Raptor gear down here, and we did all interior, wheels, tires, lift, all that stuff, was a 2004 extra cab Hilux, the last of that slim line.
Yeah.
And it was just the extra cab with the tub. And the next one I did was a 2004 dual cab, but we did the tray and canopy. But I remember sitting there looking at it going, like, if you had that dual cab and you could work out that extension to put the extra cab tub on it, you got, I keep getting these mixed up, I'm going to say a Tacoma. Like, you got that kind of Tacoma-ish look.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that'd be sweet.
Like, when I was in the States cruising around, a fellow that I knew over there, he had a Tacoma, and it was exactly that Hilux.
Yeah.
And it was called the Tacoma there. And then, obviously, they didn't get the N70 Hilux over there.
I didn't think they had, because they stopped the Hilux. They went to the Tundra or something.
The Tacomas and Tundras over there. So the Tundra, the next Tacoma was a different shape. And it was altogether different. And they don't have a box chassis. They're a C-channel chassis, those little Tacomas. So they're not the same. And now
what year's that start?
Must have been, it's mid-2000s.
They're still doing C channels in the 2000s.
Now the new ones are the next generation. So the new gen, the global platform, which is practically the 300 chassis. So the 300 chassis looks exactly like the Tacoma, the Tundra, everything.
But early 2000s, they were still doing C channel chassis.
Yeah. So the next model on from what the Hilux one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I thought they stopped doing that at, like, hot rod years. Wow. We haven't had a C-channel chassis over here in...
Well, we don't have it, no.
No, that I think I've ever seen. Nothing on anything that I've ever worked on. I mean, most of my early stuff is... Oh, God, mid-80s? Even that's still a full box.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just that one particular model, I'd say, that they went to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what do they call them over there? Tacos.
Pardon me. Yeah, tacos.
Yeah. So, and I said to them over there, I said, I call it taco, something else over here, buddy.
It's always about this point in the show where stuff starts going south. Oh, dear. I fucking love it. Oh, my God. Oh, I did want to hit you up because you guys have got your kids on a lot of stuff. That whole next generation of, I don't know, I'm going to call it passing on the torch and all that. Are they sort of gearing up to be in the shop?
My kids are like me. I wasn't made for school, and I learnt everything after school.
I was the same.
And my son, like, I'm ADHD and all the rest of the stuff, and he's the same as me. And he just started going sideways at school, and I'm like, mate, this is not working. So I put him on as a first-year apprentice, and he's 14. So, and I've sort of ditched him a year because it's 13. You're allowed to be a first-year apprentice in Australia now.
Is it really?
Yep. How about that?
Yeah, right.
13 years old. So if your kids are out there, folks, and they're running a bit of muck, Get him an apprenticeship.
Yeah, well, my partner Kim, her son's in that. I think he's doing year 10 now, and it's part of that trade school where they're part school, part out in the workforce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
God, fuck, I wish they had that when we were coming up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did. They started it.
Out when we were going
it was
through.
called. I think it was called track because I did it in grade 12.
They started it where they gave us the Wednesday afternoon off. I did. Take
What year
off.
was that in? Oh, is it? No, not
Mate.
19 whatever, but what year at school?
11,
11, 12, 10?
I think is when we started year 11.
Yeah, well, I
it
didn't
was
do-
mid.
I
It
didn't
was
do-
mid 90s for me.
Well, there was
I-
the
I-
talk in year 10.
I didn't do year
They-
11, so.
They actually started in year 11, but that's when you change schools.
Yeah, I think I did I didn't do year 11. I finished year 10. I didn't
Yeah.
pass anything after about year 8. But, yeah, right, I didn't even know they had that back then. Anyway, it's a lot more out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, my kids are, pretty damn lucky to be able to just step out of school and get an apprenticeship and then obviously ride the piss out of them though. Like, so to get staff, we changed to a 4-day week, but we do 6 to 6. So he's 14. He's there when I get there at 5:30 in the morning to when I leave at probably 7:30 at night. And he's working from 6 till 6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and my daughter's the same. Like, she works in the office doing a Cert 3 in business, and then she'll move on after that. That's a 12-month thing, and then she'll go on to the Cert 4 and whatever else. So she actually wants to be a auto sparky, but I am.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. She likes long nails and shit too much for that. I said to her, "You're gonna have to stop doing that beauty stuff if you want to get on the tools,
Might come in handy when you're getting those fiddly little wires. The amount of time.
Mind you, though, I was ex-military, and deep down in the ship, we were part of the engineering crew when I worked with a Barbie doll.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Sit.
but
Love fingernails, love makeup.
really,
Prettiest girl you'd see.
Yeah.
But love to get down and dirty.
yeah. But what I'm saying,
Yeah, we're
is
not
that-
talking about down and dirty
No.
like that, aren't we?
Like-
I don't mean that. I mean working. She was actually
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I look,
yeah,
my,
sure.
my,
brilliant fitter.
my daughter, she loves working and all that. She's been helping me do the block wall and she, hooks right in. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But at this stage, I've sort of got them separated because I don't know if you guys have got kids yourselves.
Son and daughter, yeah.
Yep. They ain't working in the same workshop because they'd just kill each other.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. So the whole idea, so they're doing that side of things. So I'm getting them into doing filming as
Yep.
well. And like we built Buster Line for Hannah's car to drive around in and come wheeling with me and camping and everything. So, I mean, it's a given that she'll come on camera and she loves it. And what she does, he has to do anyway. So he's got himself a little Suzuki and doing the bar work and everything. And that's going to be a pretty epic build.
Yeah, I've seen some of it. For anybody that's not like right up to it, the socials and YouTube has got a lot of really cool shit on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're not just chopping, 200s on there or anything like that. And I actually thought about starting another YouTube channel and calling it Reuben's Ranch. And
Oh, yeah.
because I've got a really, really cool car collection. I've been into muscle cars all my life.
Nice.
And that's my passion. I love cars. I mean, I love forward driving, but there's nothing cooler than a big V8.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Love it. No, yeah, there she is. That's your daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, these days, this generation, they've come up with phones with cameras. But they're all on, the camera's like nothing for them.
Yeah. Yeah, she loves it, to be honest. She really does love it.
So for how far do you guys go back? Is it the 200s where you start? Someone comes with the 200,
so
they can do
200, and then we did a 100 series.
that? Okay.
Yeah, but never again.
Yeah, see, that's what we were talking about this the other day. I want to do the V800 series as the shop truck
Yeah.
because I want to do the extra cab chop, my 1800 canopy, all that. But there's none of the boys on any of the shows are running the 100 series. The 60s, 80s, 200s, 79s, GUs.
Yeah, no, you should do a 100 series though. Like, I bought a 105 and I was going to chop it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm I even bought cool number plates. You should do one.
Look,
I've got number plates for you. Nifty 50.
Oh, what did we say that? No, we didn't say nifty. We said shifty 50. We literally said that in the last episode we were talking about this was the shifty 50. Nifty 50, that works too. Because I wanted the V8.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like there's a 105 sitting there at the moment that a guy that I've done a heap of work for they've bought a new D-Max for the wife and whatever else. So he's trying to sell that. But it was, and I love the solid axle idea, but I'm not sacrificing the V8. I want to go down the V8.
If you're not going to beat on it, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, independent. If you're not going to go and try and do hard tracks, like hard tracks.
I'm all Turo.
That's right. Like you'll never have a drama with it, and you'll have the nice to drive and everything else.
Yeah, no, I've said it. I've said it that many times. I look at hills and I go, what's it going to cost me, or am I going to be able to get home? That's it. I'm so much more touring. I love playing, but I still base every play on driving home.
Yeah,
because I don't have. If I get to a point where I have a truck finished, well, typically I sell them because then I get bored. But if I get to a point where I have a truck finished, the last thing I want to do is have to redo it again because that'll just piss me off. So I'm still, I still judge, dollars and getting home.
Yeah, but you can have your tourer and then you can have your beater. Like if you like wheeling, and that's the whole idea about me GU.
Yeah.
That's going to be like just go and put it in, and like if it rolls, it rolls. But there's extra bar work that I want to do to it and make it sure it's got an exoskeleton and everything like that. So you can go and beat on it and not worry about what happens. And look, those GU diffs, I mean, they are unbelievably strong, aren't they?
Again, I've never broken one, but then I haven't really broken anything off road because I've never thought of doing it with two different trucks. I've always tried to get a crossover of, well, I mean, for what I do anyway. I mean, like I do, if it's a 4-corner coil and I've got a 2-inch and 33s or 35s.
Yeah. I
mean, I don't get stuck that often.
No, that's true.
But I also don't do anything that crazy because I've never been worried about filming it. So I'm like, if I get through it, sweet. And if I don't, I'll just lie about it. Keep it simple. Oh, my God. One more thing, because I ask everybody this.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles. Are you guys getting into any of that shit, or have you got the same answer that everybody else has gotten?
I don't. I think they're going to be a short-lived thing, to be honest. I mean, like, they've got hydrogen coming out and different things, and look at their hydrogen cells that drive an electric motor. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. But this electric bullshit, like, I'm not a fan. I reckon, though, if I lived in a city and I had to commute in the city, of course, I'd have an electric vehicle. I don't really want to be cruising around sniffing on diesel fumes and everything else like that. But as soon as you get out of those, those bounds and you're out on the country roads and you've got to go somewhere else, I just don't believe they're for us. And
Gleno said the same thing. And city ticking around, all good, no worries. Yeah. But travel, no.
Yeah, and look, I've got a BJ42 Old Yeller, and when I was at SEMA, I was actually looking at an electric motor to go in it. I thought, this would be something different, you know. And the costs of the motor and the battery and everything else is just, and the range you get, it's like it's just useless.
Yeah.
So I'd have to have a support vehicle pulling the 30 kVA generator just to charge the bastard.
That's right.
So what's the point?
Petrol or diesel generator to charge your electric car.
Yeah. Look, I think they've got their place. Like, we've had electric buses and whatever else for fucking donkey years, haven't we? Yeah.
Well, who was it? Was Barney talking about that? There's 3 at North Lakes, and they can only charge one at a time, and it's got to be a certain hour of the day because otherwise the grid can't handle and everything shuts down.
Yeah.
Fuck, what a joke.
Our power system in Australia is not made for electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Right? For starters, we're a dirty power country. We run coal.
Yeah.
So the more the more you charge your electric vehicles, folks, is the more
Coal is
shit
getting burnt.
going into the atmosphere anyway, because the power's got to come from somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
until we can make those bloody continuous magnets or whatever.
The perpetual motion ones. Yeah.
Until we can make those,
Yep.
I think we're up shit creek.
Yeah, I don't get it. It was never really going to be a topic, but I brought it up with Barney because he told Gleno that he put it out, he's like, if Gleno buys me a Cybertruck, he'll drive it up Little Red. So it's just become a thing now. I get the little buzz boxes and I get a few Ubers on days like this, and I get the city driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
And I wouldn't be into a Cybertruck. I'm a Rivian fan, a Rivian or whatever.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're a far better looking truck. And I've been in the States and I've bumped into people charging their Rivians and they've been travelling all over the place and they're a pretty cool looking truck.
There was a the Cybertruck, a Cybertruck hill climb. What
Have a
the
look at
fuck?
this. This is one we've been talking about previously about how average it was trying to get up.
Well, how heavy are they?
They're like 4.5.
Yeah, like they're just
No, they're
ridiculously
4,500
heavy.
pounds or something. But like, I mean, look, Elon's a unique bloke, so I'll give him that. Give us some. Oh, there won't be noise. I was going to say give us some noise. It's fucking electric. There won't be noise.
Suspension height. The truck has an off-road mode that changes the settings of the air suspension system and adaptive dampers to make it easier to traverse rough terrain.
Well, that's not half bloody AI.
Rough terrain.
Rough terrain.
But the driver appeared to intentionally stop in the middle of the stairs, using momentum in the process. The Cybertruck appears to spin its wheels and the tires screech as it struggles to get up a dirt hill.
And you know what, folks? That's not fair on that truck, because if old mate let his tyres down to a decent tyre pressure,
Yeah.
it'd probably walk it up. So that's what I don't like about this stuff either.
No. Go back out of that hit. Because that is, look, everybody's different, whatever, but that's Jesse. Everybody's different, but that thing is fucking ugly.
Oh, it is. It's dreadful.
There was a Cybertruck mock-up. Maybe hit Google. There was a Cybertruck, what do they call it?
My favourite Cybertruck meme getting around is that one where it cruises around the corner and half rolls and all the Duracell batteries roll out of it.
I would see that. What do they call when they're putting together ideas for a design for a car? It's
Concept.
Cybertruck concept. Do that. There is, what are you searching in? Bing. That'll work. Hit images. There's no up top image. Yeah, there you go. There was something that someone did that I looked at and I was like, okay, that looks
one over there?
fucking no, it didn't look like the
No.
side. There, yeah,
That-
top right. Click on that. If he'd brought that out, you'd have half a chance. Because that's cool.
Yeah, it is a good looking rig, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's ridiculously space age and completely
Yeah, but
impractical, but
it's-
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's not a stainless steel box.
I don't know. Was he worried about launching it into space and he had to get the lines right or whatever so it didn't burn up through the atmosphere?
Oh, maybe.
Well, there is one still circling us at the moment.
Yeah.
What did he?
It's a normal Tesla, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just launched that for shits and giggles, eh?
Yeah, well, all part of his SpaceX as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty epic. Who else has done that?
Hey, he's a unique bloke. I'll give you.
He'd be a good bloke to get on the piss with, I reckon. He'd be able to tell you some good stories.
What I love about listening to him is he doesn't just fire answers. Like, it's like any time you hear him in a live question sort of thing, he thinks
Yeah.
and then he answers. And you can almost see the cogs turning. You know? He's a unique bloke. He's done well.
Oh,
Well, have you seen the stuff that he's got now implanting chips into human brains?
Yeah. I don't know.
fixed brain damage.
Yeah, no, they're
Well-
talking about restoring sight and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Seriously?
yeah.
Yeah.
And supposedly they've actually already implanted it into someone already. And all is going well.
Look, I mean, that's a game changer. Like in 2018, my wife had a major car accident and was in the Biru, which is the brain injury rehab unit
Yeah.
down here in Brisbane for 12 months. You want to talk about? Yeah, well, yeah, I love that beer. Unless not if it's your last one.
No, there's always more beer.
And you know, I tell you what, it has its trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So like she's got memory issues and frontal lobe, which is temperament, and you know, eyesight, hearing, different things that are all, you know, a factor now.
Yeah.
I mean, so if there's things that can help, you know, injured people or returned veterans, you know, who've been injured,
Yeah.
you know, saving our country and doing whatever else, that's the least we can do for those guys is actually fix them up so they can live a life.
Thank you, sir.
I still have a podcast where you've actually got to refill with him.
Oh,
Thank you, beer assistant.
We haven't done that.
thank you.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty sure it's called Neuralink. And I mean, anybody that's into podcasts will see this and be like, it's a fucking carbon copy of what Joe Rogan does, because I think, you know, what he's done in the platform has been awesome. And I tried. I had like 4 or 5 different attempts trying to do it different. And then I kind of got to a point where I'm like, who the fuck am I to think I'm going to do it? You know, come up with something better than what he's got.
Yeah.
So we did it basically a copy and paste. But it was on the last, maybe not the last one, but one of the episodes that Joe did with Elon was talking about that. And it's something in the brain that, because there's like, it's like a fucking spider's web of neural pathways. And the one way that is currently wired that deals with your eyes, the concept I think is that they can rewire that so that it's now a complete circuit again.
Oh, really?
Which blows my fucking mind how they can. I don't even understand how they can do it, because it's like just a great
Just
bit
hold
of
that
mush.
thought, mate. I'm going to have to have a piss.
There you go. Press pause. And we're back. Yeah, no, that's it there. It's Neuralink. I don't understand it, but we're talking about it while you're out draining the main vein. The thing that worries me about it, have you seen Transcendence with Johnny Depp?
No.
Have you seen it?
I probably have years ago.
It's not, I don't know how old it is. No, I don't think it's that old. But there's a thing where he basically uploads himself into a computer because he's dying. Pardon me. And then they're like nanites and all this sort of shit. But he helps a guy who has an accident. He gives him, like, I don't know, some nanites or whatever, and it fixes the thing and heals him and redirects whatever, and he can walk again. But at some point, not that long after that, Johnny Depp's uploaded AI, whatever, self, because of all the nanites, like Neuralink, in this guy's head, he can control this bloke.
Oh, I've seen a movie similar to that. An old mate was working on his car and all that sort of stuff, and took it back to him, and then they did something to him, and his missus died or something, and he's belting the shit out of everyone, and then that actual AI took over, and it was a pretty freaky movie.
Are you talking about Altered Carbon? There was a TV series.
No, it was a movie, the one I saw.
No, I know. Yeah, and the it's talking to him, and it takes over, and it's
he
like,
goes, let me have a go, and he's going, okay,
and then
whatever.
kicks the shit out of the guy in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that wasn't Altered Carbon. That was something else.
Yeah,
I know
but
what
that's
you're
the
talking
whole
about.
thing. Like, that's
Yeah.
complete AI.
Yeah.
And just run off all the, signal of whatever the hell he was getting.
I know. I have no idea what the movie is. I do know that the actor was the older brother of Ryan in the OC, which is horrible that I know that. But yeah, I know the movie. I can't think of what it was called, but it was a cool movie.
As long as it, fixes people and it doesn't go.
Yeah, that's
How the
that's
sci-fi
scary
shit
thing,
goes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
The benefits can be humongous, but then what can it be used for in an evil sense?
Well, that's right. Well, Elon can turn off your Tesla, and he can upload it, or he can take it out, or whatever. If he can do that to the car, and if you've got a chip in your head and you're getting service, what the fuck can happen? You'd have to be like old mate on Dukes of Hazzard cruising around with his armadillo helmet on.
Well, we were talking about that. We actually, Barney and I were talking about that as you know how you're driving and you've got the GPS that's built in, and because it knows the speed limit, so it'll flash when you've gone over the speed limit.
When are they going to screw you with that?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, it's either going to be you've gone over and you'll just be automatically issued a ticket,
Yeah.
or every vehicle will be speed limited.
Yeah. that'll be shit. I'll be driving my GQ.
I swear. Yeah, that's the
It's
what he
speed
said.
limited anyway.
Yeah,
At 100.
it's because it's got the aerodynamic nature of a Besser brick. The old Kiwis. At least they're not Tritons. Sorry.
You know.
Fuck, we've given some fucking Mitsubishi owners some shit on this. Luckily, we've got an audience of about 5.
Well, I like Mitsubishi Tritons. I had a fleet of them when I was maintaining, oil and gas rigs and whatever.
Yeah.
And they never let me down. They were absolutely sensational.
Look, I actually...
And they were cheaper than Hiluxes.
This is true. I actually don't have a problem with Tritons. It's just that in every family, there is somebody that cops a lot of shit, and the Triton is the brother that cops the shit.
Actually, you asked me before, and I never got to answer you. What projects have I got coming up? I was talking about my cool cars that that I'm excited to actually be working on.
Yeah.
But for my sales, my head salesman, he got my old Ranger that I blew up. I don't know if you saw that, and we had issues with the turbo drain hose back to the sump. It was an issue before. They nearly did a recall on them. And
So with 2015, 16?
No, it was a brand new one.
Oh,
It
really?
was only just recently.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I missed that.
I was driving across the Plenty Highway from the Territory back to Queensland, and it shit itself. And luckily I was in convoy. I'd just been filming with Simon Christie on that 4-drive TV, and Vaughan from MDC towed me into Tobermory Station, and it got towed from there. Anyway, my salesman, he inherited that car because I'm like, ooh, I was without it for ages.
Yeah.
And I'd bought me Raptor, and so the salesman got that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to change shit up, and I've sold it, and I've sold my cameraman's car, which is a older Ranger, and I've bought my salesman a SsangYong Musso,
Right.
and the camera crew have a GWM Canon. Right,
I don't mind the Cannons. They're actually a good looking rig.
That Savage guy, he has got so much shit for these things. It's unbelievable. So
Really?
Check this out. We've developed a cheaper range of alloy tray to go on the like entry stage dual cab utes like the SsangYongs and the GWMs.
Yeah.
But I bought both those utes. They owe me $80,000 like for 2 utes. So I sold one Ranger, and that paid for 2 cheaper utes.
Wow.
And the fuel economy that comes out of that SsangYong is amazing. I mean, they're not the prettiest vehicle, but I reckon after I've had my way with it, it's going to look pretty epic.
Look, I haven't had much to do at all with the SsangYongs, but I will. It's the T60, the TX60, the Great Wall, the big one.
The Great Wall?
Yeah.
No idea. I don't know. This is just a Canon, the Great Wall I've got.
Yeah, what the Great Wall, the dual cab ute. They've got whichever one it is. They've got a big open grille. It looks like a Tacoma front.
Yeah. So that's just the Canon, yeah?
Is that what they call the Canon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember seeing the plastic bit on the back of the
I think that
tailgate
you're
that's
talking about the
T60.
LDV, which is the G60.
Maybe it's
LDV.
I don't know. There's a couple of them that I've seen getting around that they've given it a facelift.
Yeah.
And they're both of them. SsangYong. I don't think I can even think of the SsangYong one.
Bring up the SsangYong Musso. You're going to laugh the piss out of me. Look, it is. Everybody's going to say it's ugly, but I've actually seen a couple that have been done up, and I reckon that they're going to be a good thing.
Well, we're giving Ruthie shit about the
Mahindra.
What's he driving? The Mahindras.
Well, see, the Mahindra, look, they are fucking ugly. But look,
What did Glenno call it? The curry truck or something.
yeah.
I was like, oh god, that's going to come back to bite us. What's it called? The
Sang SsangYong and Musso.
This I don't know. I don't know what
there
the
you
fuck happened. I went from a Google base to this
2024.
Microsoft
There
base.
you go.
Just messes with everything.
So the dual cab ute there.
That's that big. That is not a bad looking rig.
Yeah, so that's what I like. It hasn't got flares and shit. You need to get a more basic looking one, I think.
There you go. You missed it.
That one down there. Just click on come across. That one there. So I got in the short wheelbase. So you can get 2 versions. You can get one with 100mm in the chassis.
Yep.
And one that's short. So for our testing, if we're doing GVMs, you need the actual most compact model. You can't
Okay.
you can't test on the long one. So if I bought the long one, I wouldn't actually be able to give a GVM on the short one. So I bought the short one, and like they're made in Korea. They got a 2.2 turbo diesel. I don't know if you take any notice to any Hyundai's cruising around with 2.2 turbo diesel badges.
Oh, they fly.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's the same engine. I asked that, is it Hyundai? But I mean, I reckon it'd have to be similar. They're both in Korea.
Yeah.
So
right.
you got Kia, you got Hyundai, and you got SsangYongs coming out of there, and then obviously you got the Great Wall. You know,
Well,
coming-
I don't know whether it was the SsangYong or the early Great Wall that looked like the old RC Colorado, but
the early Great Wall, wasn't it?
was it the Great Wall? Was
yeah,
it?
Because if you look up the early SsangYong, I think
Yeah.
you'll vomit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, well, whatever it was, I remember, there was one of them that was just way off base, and the other looked like a bit of a 2 beer short of a 6-pack RC Colorado.
So if you put in SsangYong like 2004 or something,
Yeah, that's right.
like if you if they have the Ute.
Hit Ute.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's it. Oh. It's like your mentally challenged cousin whose brother was his dad.
Like, I do not know who was designing that, but
Yeah.
holy shit!
It's almost got the headlights almost look like what's that Vanilla Ice Mustang? They've almost got like a little bit of a Mustang Senator. Oh, who knows anyway. There you go. The Rodeo down the bottom. That's early. That's Rodeo though. The RC Colorado. That's what.
So why don't we look up early SsangYong? Not SsangYong, Great Wall.
Great Wall. Nah, see,
all the new
but that blue one there. See, look at that. That is like a Tundra grill.
Yeah. So I got the one with the blacked out and everything else. That was
Yeah.
the model that we got.
Yeah.
But it was.
There you go.
'cause it was a 2023 run out.
Second from the right.
Yeah.
That
one.
there. I think the tail lights on those, the tub, the bloody door handles. That's RC Colorado.
Yeah, but weren't they Mitsubishi engine as well? Like they were like an Astron.
I thought
style.
I thought the Great Walls were the ones that had the Merc engine.
No, that's the early SsangYongs that
was
had
the
the
SsangYongs,
5-cylinder Merc engine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find one of that year, the arse end, maybe put tail lights.
I got a feeling that they are still fairly like Colorado-ish because I think the suspension interchanges out of a Colorado
Yeah, right.
into the new ones.
Yeah, look, that's basically a fucking Colorado tail light. Look at it. But there was something I was watching on YouTube not that long ago. There was a guy that was dealing with rebuilding a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And there's the little bloody triangle lights that were in them. And he took it out, or whatever he did, but it had a fucking Ford badge on it, and it was from like a Festiva or something. And it was in a fucking Lamborghini. Good grief. Anyway, oh my God, fuck, we could go down rabbit holes here between Elon Musk and Lamborghinis.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Well, look, I don't want to overstay my welcome because I know you're a busy man and I know you've got shit to do, and there's always more beer to go. But I really do want to say thank you for your time because you're not 5 minutes away.
Oh, look, a couple of hours, but it's just trying to fit it in with your schedule. We're trying to sort everything else out. Look, I just appreciate you inviting me down and having a chat with me and getting a bit of our story out there. And
That was the whole idea for this sort of long form stuff, was to be more than that kind of 2 or 3 minutes as part of an episode. Was like
Yeah.
to sit down and have a chat and go through it and give people an opportunity to sort of see behind the camera. Like the whole concept with this was two blokes catching up, 2.5 men.
he's probably taller than me, so maybe we're two of us like all together. Like we make one and you make one.
There you go. But yeah, it was just catching up, talking shit, and just having people have like a window into behind the scenes, because everything this day and age is so produced,
Yeah,
and edited. I mean, this is obviously edited and it comes out a few weeks after it's filmed, but the concept being that it's just like if people got to see you guys at a show, because that's how I met Barney, was at a show, and we held up the line for like 20 minutes talking shit. But if people got to have more than the typical 1 or 2 minutes with you in a lineup at a show,
Yeah.
what would they ask? And that's kind of how all this sort of came together. So
No, it's absolute credit to you, mate, and you're a pretty cool dude yourself. You know, look what you've created. I reckon you need to give yourself a big pat on the shoulder because this is a really cool experience, and you know, I hope you get some really, really big names out there come on your show because I think it's going to go somewhere. So, well done, bud.
Well, I appreciate it, and if there's any names you'd like to nominate whilst we're filming, I'm happy to take that too. No, I won't put you on the spot, mate. I appreciate it again. Thank you very much. Definitely more beers to drink, but if we wrap it up here, we can talk a bit of shit of the things that we can't talk about on camera.
Sounds good, mate. Cheers, eh?
Thanks heaps, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Bye, everybody.